Hi, good morning. It's nice to have all of you here. This is RN Bhaskar from BKBB, which is an acronym for Bhaskar Ki Business Baatein. This is a channel that comes to you with policy analysis, conversations, and occasional business stories every week. But right now, at 8:15 in the morning, we bring to you news behind the news. We take up headlines that we think are important for discussion. And today, my co anchors are Janavi, welcome Janavi, and Muskan. Welcome, Muskan. Good to have you here. And the titles that the three of us will be discussing are there on your screen. The first one is about Fitch maintaining India's rating at BBB minus. The second about fraudulent applications, even the Ladki Bahin scheme. And then you have how AI is weaving its way into banking and education in India. All the three stories are interesting. Let's take the first one first. Fitch has retained India's rating as BBB minus. And while some newspapers talk about it because of India's robust growth, the fact that it is BBB minus, the lowest grade for investments in the world at present, and last year it was only Azerbaijan and India which had this rating. I do not know where the robust growth comes from. BB minus is the lowest grade. And if you look at the chart on your right hand side, you'll find out that the culprits are, according to Fitch, the deficit and the fiscal deficit both put together. There are two other issues which are worrisome. The surging debt, and what has not been mentioned on the table is the surging balance of trade payments. You cannot have a booming economy if your balance of trade worsens, if your debt increases, if your deficits increase, which means that while India's rating has not deteriorated, it is cause for concern and India must be careful. Can India turn the tide in its favor? Yes, maybe. A lot depends on what happens next month. In September, there's a big meeting at the SCO where Prime Minister Modi, Xi Jinping, and Putin are all going to be sitting together, meeting together. And depending on the way trade talks go and collaboration between the three countries go, India has a chance to bounce back or sink further. Because India's finances are weak. They're weakening thanks to the largest, because of politics and because of vote catching, and thanks to the fact that India is not an investment friendly state. Investments have run away. So let's see what happens next month. One just hopes that India bounces back. And that takes me to the second story, and the second story is by Janvi on how fraudulent schemes have come in even into the Ladki Bahin scheme. Janvi, your turn.
So, the Maharashtra government has flagged around 26 lakh women as illegal beneficiaries under the Ladki Bahin scheme. And this is against the approximately 2.25 crore eligible beneficiaries. Now, that's not a margin error, that is a huge crisis. One of the only few requirements of the scheme is that you have to be a female and between 21 to 65 years of age. Some families have gotten more than two illegal beneficiaries, and what's even sadder is that even men had applied for a scheme that's meant specifically for women, and they actually slipped through the cracks. There's definitely a need to know on what basis these forms were initially accepted and now on what parameters they have been omitted, and what kind of software was used for this system. But while there are many illegal beneficiaries availing the 1500 per month incentive, there are many women who still haven't been receiving their share. And this has been alleged to be a 4800 scam in the scheme. So the scheme is a great tool for welfare on its own, just like, for example, the PDS linked Aadhaar cards or the Ujjwal Yojana. In both of its schemes, we have seen duplicate beneficiaries and ghost connections. So they're all well-intentioned schemes, but they falter when it comes to their execution, with loopholes so great that it sort of negates the whole welfare factor. And each time this happens, it's not just about the financial loss, but it wears down public trust that in schemes that are meant to actually empower them. So what do you think about that, sir?
Janvi, Janvi, you're absolutely right. The way we have conducted our finances, the way we have looked at our beneficiary schemes, the identification of people through a scheme like Aadhaar, so poorly implemented that by the government's own admission before Parliament, 9 states have more Aadhaar cards than even the populations in the state. You can't be a Viksit Bharat with a rotten monitoring system. And wherever there's money, you find fraudulent claimants. You got fraudulent claimants for gas, you got fraudulent claimants for rations, you got fraudulent claimants even for the latest Ladki Bahin scheme. And as some papers point out, the largest fraudulent applications are from the constituencies of the two deputy chief ministers. Obviously, this is a vote catching ploy, and everyone's trying to grab as many votes and as many favors as possible. And money, of course. And that is why the scheme was distorted, was manipulated, and when cleansing takes place, it is only to penalize other political parties, not the ruling political party. And that is why cleansing also becomes a political exercise and not an actual moral exercise. Thanks, Janvi. Very important story, very useful. Thanks. And we come to the third story, which is interesting in a different way. While AI has frightened some people, it is now weaving its way into banking and education. Muskan, could we have you?
Yes, sir. So we'll be looking at the intersection of AI, that is artificial intelligence, and key sectors like banking and education. The company OpenAI has decided to offer 50,000 free ChatGPT licenses to students and teachers across India. So this initiative is a big part of their effort to not just monetize their services, but to expand their reach and demonstrate the value of AI in a practical way. The program will benefit government school teachers and engineering students. It's a step towards making AI an accessible learning and teaching tool. OpenAI has also partnered with organizations like Ministry of Education to ensure these licenses are used effectively. They believe AI can be a personal lifelong tutor and a valuable assistant for educators, helping to improve teaching methods and digital skills. And also, in another recent development, a report from Boston Consulting Group highlights the transformative power of AI in the Indian banking sector. The report suggests that AI has the potential to reshape up to half of the roles in Indian banking. While this might sound a little alarming, it's really not about shift in roles and responsibility, but the report notes that AI adoption is a prerequisite for the banking sector to grow and keep pace with the nominal GDP of developed countries. The key takeaway from this is that AI isn't about replacing people, but about augmenting their capabilities and creating a more efficient and productive industry. So, whether it's about revolutionizing education or reshaping the financial sector, AI is playing a crucial role in India's development. And these initiatives clearly show the commitment to use technology to drive progress and prepare our country for the future. What do you have to say, sir?
Muskan, you're absolutely right because of two reasons. One, AI is a powerful tool. And while the report says that banking could benefit enormously, and banking will embrace it because it saves them money and improves efficiency. The problem is when it comes to education. Education can be the biggest beneficiary, but only if the politicians allow it. Look at the way the government shut down schools in Bihar, which is already backwards in education. The government does not want education in the poor states, the Bimaru states, because that is how people remain poor, and that is how the government can give doles across and win votes. Education will destroy that possibility because students will become smarter and ask more questions. So while AI can help education, a lot will depend on whether the government actually allows it to be implemented properly in education. The simplest way it could be done is what Jeffrey Sachs talks about, allowing Indians to create, every student to create his or her own avatar, which can become a personal tutor in his or her own language, and teaching them how to do the maths, how to understand geography, how to understand history. But that will give them freedom to understand what's happening. And that is something which politicians will be very scared of letting students have. Let's see what happens. And thank you very much, Muskan. This was very good. And that takes me to the end of today's session. But before I go to questions, answers, and to the comments, there's a usual reminder. Please click the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. Please click the like button if you have liked this program, because it helps us immensely. But most of all, please tell all your friends about us. It helps us grow faster. And that takes me to the last part, and that is questions and comments. The first one: do you think indices are deteriorating? Yes, India's indices are deteriorating. Just look at the trade gap, the balance of trade. It's worsening. Look at India's debt. It's worsening. And please remember, this debt is without considering the clever ways the government has managed to conceal debt by taking the money for public sector units and government bodies as dividend, which leaves the companies with very little money to improve the matters in their respective units. India's finances are weak. And if you look at all the numbers, they are very, very, very worrisome. And that takes me to the second comment. And the second comment is, all the schemes turn out to be scams. Yes. Many schemes, wherever there's money, politicians believe that that they have the first right to the money. To get the money, they create fictitious ghost applicants, whether it's through Aadhaar, or it is through Ladki Bahin, or it is through the gas, or it is through electricity. Just look at the slum data. Please look at my podcast on slums. Slums get 10 times the benefits than they're eligible to get. What more can we say? And that takes me to the third comment. And the third comment is on AI. Why does the government not provide AI in schools? Well, to get AI in schools, you first need internet. As the government's own admission before Parliament shows, more than 50% of the schools are not internet enabled. The number could go up to 80%. More than 50% of schools don't even have laboratories. And these are government schools. So AI has a huge benefit, but start enabling it. Don't fritter money away on other things. Start with education, because that's the core, the fundamental block on which everything depends. And you've ignored that. And anyway, that takes me to the end of today's session. Thank you for being with us. And yes, do have a wonderful day ahead, and look forward to seeing you once again tomorrow morning at 8:15 a.m. Take care. Have a great